Here with Wolf Blitzer in the Situation Room here at CNN, and you and many people at the network getting ready to go to Tampa for the conventions. Given the declining ratings overall, the fact that it's utterly predictable, not very little drama, how much do these conventions matter compared to even a decade ago?
I think they matter a great deal. A lot of folks, you and I have been paying a great deal of attention. All the news junkies have been paying a great deal of attention. But there's still a lot of people who haven't paid a great deal of attention. It'll have a lot of airtime on the networks, on all the cable channels, to be sure. My own sense,
Mitt Romney will have an opportunity here to
he'll have a great opportunity.
Himself.
He'll have an opportunity, and I think President Obama and Charlotte will have an opportunity. My own sense is that the country right now, about 45% for sure is going to vote for President Obama. About 45% for sure is going to vote for Mitt Romney. So let's say there's 10% that either haven't yet made up their minds or are movable,
sure,
switchable, or whatever the pollsters call it. Let's say there's 5% who are in that category. That 5% probably hasn't really paid a whole lot of attention, and maybe they'll start paying attention at these conventions. So I think it's important.
Speaking of the president, he finally took a couple of questions the other day from reporters, White House reporters in the briefing room, surprise appearance after about 2 months of basically stiffing the White House press corps. Stephanie Cutter, his deputy campaign manager, said on CNN, in fact, that him talking to People magazine and Entertainment Tonight was equally important as talking to the mainstream media. Great for the president to have these soft venues, but how about the people who cover him for a living?
Well, as a former White House correspondent,
yes,
I think it's always much more important for a president, any president, Democrat or Republican, to speak to the White House press corps, answer questions, come into the briefing room from time to time.
Does he need the White House press corps?
I think he does, because most people get their information about what's happening in the White House or in an administration from the White House press corps.
Not from People magazine.
People magazine is, I'm not saying People magazine's unimportant. People magazine is important, Entertainment Tonight and Entertainment Weekly, all that is important. I'm biased because as a former White House correspondent, I think the White House press corps is more important, but I'm not belittling the softer.
Nobody would do that. I just don't think it should be instead of.
I agree.
Okay.
I think he should do both.
When you interviewed Debbie Wasserman Schultz, you pushed back hard to get her to admit, Democratic chairman, that Paul Ryan's Medicare proposal would not affect any seniors now 55 or older. When you had Donald Trump on, you told him he was sounding a little ridiculous on the birther question. Are you trying to be more aggressive in interviews with these politicians?
A little bit, I am. I mean, it's the notion that politicians can come on and think that they're getting a free ride. I think that's ancient history. We're trained journalists, we're professionals. We want to ask tough questions, and when we hear something that's clearly factually wrong, we push back. Remember, Lawrence Spivak, the original host of Meet the Press, he always said, and my old friend Tim Russert believed this, he always said it, when a Democrat is on, you ask questions Republicans would ask. When a Republican is on, you ask questions Democrats would ask. Sometimes people hate you in the process of that, the partisan types on both sides, but it equals out. If you're tough with one, you should be tough with the other, especially when you hear something that is clearly wrong.
When President Obama skipped the NAACP convention, you said he should have gone. You said he should not take the African American vote for granted. It seems like maybe you're being encouraged to be a little more opinionated out there at a network that's known for...
I don't know if it's opinionated as much as trying, as we like to say, trying to keep them honest, trying to, give a little bit more back and forth, if you will, and not just listen and move on. But if you listen closely to what they're saying, and you hear something as a seasoned journalist, and you know that that's challengeable, you go ahead and challenge it.
And just briefly, one area where you're clearly biased is the Washington Nationals. In fact, what you've said about the baseball team here, I'm almost tempted to say that you're in the tank for that ball club. You love the Nationals.
I do, and if you've been following my Twitter account, you see that almost every single day I go out there and I point out that the Washington Nationals, at Nationals, which is the Washington Nationals Twitter, the Washington Nationals have won more games in the Major League Baseball than any other team at this point right now. I tweet that almost every single day. Drives a lot of my Twitter followers crazy out there, but it's a fact. And as you and I know, Howie, we do factual reporting.
No shortage of opinions when it comes to the local sports team. Wolf Blitzer, thanks very much for sitting down with us in the Situation Room.
Thank you.